Hey everybody, welcome back to my Eurovision React Review channel. So today I'm going to be carrying on with my Eurovision travel video vlog thing that I'm doing. So if you've kind of tuned into my last couple of videos, you will know that I'm currently traveling around Europe, and each country that I visit, I basically go through their songs and kind of, rank them. So I've done Poland. Poland was the first country I went to. Did Hungary. That was the second country that I went to. I'm going to be going to 6 in total. So the third country, which I've left now, I'm in my fourth, is Croatia. So I'm going to be doing this video from outside. It is raining, only because there is no light inside at all. And I'm on in this apartment that has a terrace. I'm just going to show you the view without falling over. As you can see, it's a pretty miserable day here. You have to tune into the next video to work out where I am, but you might know where I am if you follow me on Instagram. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my time in Croatia, and I'm going to go through all the songs that Croatia sent at Eurovision and rank them. I think there's 28 in total. So I'm going to give you my top 28 songs from Croatia. Okay, so I'm going to lean in because I think it's probably quite loud out here, but I've got no choice because the light is so bad inside. Croatia, yes, how long was I in Croatia for? 2 weeks, give or take. So from Budapest, I got a bus from Budapest to Zagreb. I've never crossed the border, a land border before, so that was fun. It took ages. I think we were there for like 2.5 hours. Yeah, I had a couple of days in Zagreb. Zagreb was cute.
Kolišća sam, vjetar me raznosi, vukovi umiru sami. Kolišća sam, vjetar me raznosi, vukovi umiru sami.
I managed to meet up with Bartol. He is a guy that I met at the Serbian national final. Really nice guy. He works with Eurosong.hr, a Croatian YouTube and predominantly website. And then I got to do a day trip to Plitvice. I don't know, I'm just pronouncing it how I want to. Plitvice Lakes, which was absolutely stunning. Like,
nek mene bude, neka me bez tebe ne probude, neka mi ne svane, nek me nema, nek mene bude, neka me bez tebe ne probude.
and then I got a bus to Trogia.
Zasvirajte noćas u domasu, tinko nježno da me razboli. Tugu kad umire slavut, kad se duša s tijelom razdvoji. Zasvirajte noćas u domasu, al polako.
If anyone has been to Croatia, then you will know that the prices in Croatia are insane. On that Croatian coast, yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it has some of the clearest seas I've ever seen. It's a shame. I loved Croatia, but I maybe think twice about going again, particularly on the coast, just because it's so expensive. Anyway, that was cool, and I had every intention of staying in Split, but just Croatia was so touristy, particularly Trogia. I couldn't move. Like, I was going down these windy streets and it was just packed of tourists. I know I'm a tourist and I know that sounds stupid. And I was like, screw this. And I kind of got to Split. I was like, this feels exactly the same. So I got this place, which was amazing in the end, about 6 or 7 kilometers down from Split. It was like a fishing village called Stobrek.
Moja Klar, 7, 8, 9, moja!
Opet mala!
Seks. Tika taka oko pola 3. Gricnut ćeš.
And that actually wasn't bad in regards to prices. The hotel room wasn't that bad, and then the restaurants and bars were decently priced. So that's where I got to see England win the European Cup in football, not the men but the women, but it doesn't matter, it's just as good, just as equal. It was cool. It was cool. I didn't think there would be any bar in this fishing village that would show it. Yeah, there was one bar showing it, and there was a few English people in there and a few Germans. And yeah, we had a really good time. It was really civil, and we shook hands at the end and everything. It was great. But I'm no longer in Croatia. I'm in a country that borders Croatia now. Having an amazing time, actually. I really like this country. This was hard. So just like Poland and Hungary, as I was kind of making my way around Croatia, although a lot of it was just me on the beach just listening to the songs, I started to realise this is not going to be an easy ranking. Actually, it made me realise Croatia's had a bit of a rough time recently, and I think that's going to be reflected in my ranking. But there was a time where I think Croatia was like a powerhouse. And they've had some amazing songs. Right, okay, let's get into this video before my coffee gets cold. Okay, just like last time, I'm going to be using Schlager Lucas, who is a legend, and he has created these compilation videos. I'm going to be using my phone as well, because I do like to make notes, so I don't just talk absolute rubbish, although actually some people might think that I do. Oops. But try and kind of have some sort of constructive things to say. So that's what the phone's about, notes. Okay, so let's do this.
Never say goodbye, never say goodbye. Don't ever cry, don't ever cry. Never say goodbye, never say goodbye.
So it doesn't escape me that 1993, things are pretty obviously intense, and I don't mean to kind of undermine that, but at the end of the day, it was a turbulent time for Croatia, obviously fighting for their independence. So as a result of that, this song actually takes on a whole lot of meaning. I don't think I'd heard this song before, but I don't think I'd ever properly processed the song with the time that they're singing it. So obviously the nature of the song was very current at the time. The song's about love and peace during, obviously, as I just said, a very turbulent time. And there's that kind of infamous line, isn't there? Don't ever cry, Croatian sky. I actually don't mind this song, actually. I'd heard it before. So I've got this in 10th. I think it's a good melody. It's well sung.
Bude ljubav sva, moja je duša umorna.
I didn't realise that he's actually one of Croatia's leading pop stars. He is a big name. I mean, it's a simple pop song. For some people, it's an extremely strong song. It's well sung. I didn't follow Dora in 2021, but he competed in Dora in 2021, where he came 8th. I know that there is a lot of love for this song, I think particularly because he's a big name. For me, it doesn't stack up as well as the other songs from Croatia, so I've got this song as 24th, but I do acknowledge that it's well sung, and it's a simple, nice pop song. What is that noise? What have I said about this? I've put violins at the beginning. I'd heard this song before. Violins at the beginning are very, very interesting. Vocals are insane. Like Lydia's soprano voice comes through really well, and it's a really nice blend with Danijela's voice. I did see in the comments that someone says that this song is balm for for the ears and the soul. It's quite a good song actually, this one. I'm not really as familiar with songs before 1999 in all seriousness. That was the first year that I properly watched it. But because I listen to ESC radio, like, they do play the classics, as they say, so I have heard the song a few times. I think this holds up well, so I've got this song in 12th. Yeah. Maya, you go, girl. I don't think we can deny that this is effectively a package that is a singing masterpiece. She did, someone needs to correct me here. She had the record for the highest note, but did E.N.I from Israel beat that recently? So, can someone let me know? I thought she did. But she hits a flat B note, as you could hear there. I don't think I'd properly, again, I've heard this song on ESC radio, but listening to it a few times, like, it's very evident. When it hits around 2 minutes, there's this kind of hint of Irish music sound, which I quite liked. ESC Tom, a YouTuber who I absolutely love, as I was going through the comments, he's commented on this video. He says, a one-woman show, which is actually pretty spot on. She's actually an unknown now in Croatia. After this pretty, well, I would say infamous performance, she didn't really go anywhere, which is kind of interesting. And actually, more importantly, you can see this in the bottom right-hand corner, this song was nearly eliminated in the pre-selections. As you can see, 19th. It's crazy how it nearly got eliminated, but then did so well in the final. I've got this in 14th. I think this is a classic. It's just, there is an era in Croatian Eurovision history which I'm obsessed with. So I think that's why it's as low as it is. But I think for a lot of people, this is probably in their top 2 or even first. I hadn't heard this. I've got pins and needles. Why do I always have pins and needles when I do these videos? I hadn't heard this song before. And I'd heard the song before I watched it, so I didn't realise it was a girl band. Okay, let's state the obvious. It's the Croatian Spice Girls, right? When did the Spice Girls come out? 1996? End of 1996? Definitely 1997, they were already huge. I think as a result of that, it was tapping into what was about to become evidently extremely current. And actually this was, so 1998 they brought in the televote, right? So I think had this been a year later, but then we would not have had Croatia in 1998, so I don't want to wish it upon anyone. But had this come a year later with the televote, I think this probably would have done a little bit better, because as you can see, it came 17th, right? Someone did write, and I can sympathise to this with a point. A visual representation of all the 90s girls and boys pretending to be the Spice Girls during sleepovers. That might not be doing E.N.I enough credit there. I saw on Wikipedia, I don't know how relevant it is, but they performed at 2004 Zagreb Pride. I think it's okay. It's okay. I've got this in 22nd. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Dok novi ne svane mi dane.
Making up my own lyrics, as I always do. I didn't realise that, obviously, after doing this, that she is one half of Nostalgia, but I think she was a lead singer of a band, right, for Nostalgia. Anyway, you could probably tell from my reaction then, I absolutely love this song. It gives me goosebumps every time I listen to it, and I will say, that dress reveal is one of the best dress reveals, I think, at Eurovision. It's so simple, but so unbelievably effective. I personally think this is one of the best songs at Eurovision ever, period. There we go, it's a pretty bold statement. I mean, she came 5th, but in 1998, wasn't it really like close at the top? I think there wasn't many points in it amongst a lot of countries. Yeah, this is classic Eurovision. Great singer, great song, sung in native language, and great orchestration. I absolutely am obsessed with this song. This song is my second favourite Croatian song sent to Eurovision of all time. It's absolutely amazing.
Marija Magdalena. Marija
I am so sorry for all the Swedes out there. I'm sorry for all the Icelandic people out there. Because this was very much kind of Charlotte Nielsen and We're All Out of Luck If You Wanna Give Up, which was the favourite that year, right, from Iceland. This was the year 1999. I wouldn't have heard any of the songs before actually watching the final. So as a little boy in my room, and this song came on, I was like, this is an absolute tune. This was my favourite at the time, and I was really rooting for this. I still think this should have won. There we go. I still think it sounds like, luckily this song is on Spotify, so I get to listen to it all the time. I think this song sounds even modern now. I think the sound of it is timeless. And I think when I'm doing this ranking, it is very evident that I think the best songs from Croatia are generally in their native tongue, in Croatian. So I think as a result of that, try not to sing in English. Just, there's something beautiful about Croatian song. I read a comment actually on one of the videos, can't remember which one, and it said that it's almost like Croatian as a language was created for music. And actually at the end, if you watch the video, at the end she gets a huge cheer in the stadium. So it would have been Jerusalem, right? It's in Israel. Look, the jig is up. This is my favourite song from Croatia of all time. It is timeless. It is epic. I love it. Please don't stay tuned. There's more songs to come, but I think this song is amazing. This is almost like the beginning of like the noughties Balkan ballads, right? I can't deny the fact that he has a great voice, and I did see on Wikipedia he was a judge on Croatian Idol, so he's obviously a big deal, or was a big deal. I don't know what he's doing now. I don't think the song, based on the fact that Croatia sent a multitude of, and I'll say Balkan ballads after this, or one or two of them you could say has a Mediterranean feel ballad. There we go, politically correct for some. I don't think it holds up as well as others, so I think as a result of that, that's probably why it's quite low for me. I've got it as 23rd, but I know there's a lot of people out there that really love this song. I just think that there are better, slower songs that Croatia have sang.
Don't break my heart tonight. Don't leave me when I cry. Stay now and softly play the strings of my heart.
My research tells me she gave birth 3 weeks before this performance. I had no idea about that. I swear I remember our commentator Terry Wogan saying before she started singing that this was the favourite or one of the favourites of 2001. I was never a huge fan about it at the time. Now I've been listening to the songs a lot recently. It's kind of going further up in my estimations, and as a result of that, I do think it probably deserves higher than 10th. I'm a sucker for strings. If you are subscribed to my channel, you know I talk about strings all the time, and then it gets into that I mean, the song is called Strings of My Heart, so I guess, you know, play on violins as much as you can. I did read one or two of the comments that suggested this could have sounded a bit better maybe in Croatian. Look, at the end of the day, she's still pretty big. She's still releasing music in Croatian, still doing well, so I don't want to speak too ill of her. All I will say is she sings almost flawlessly. I just think with the feel of the song, she's a little static. She doesn't really move. I would have expected, I don't know, more going on the stage. The energy that she's kind of giving me in regards to what she's doing with her body doesn't really match with the song. With that said, I still think this is a good song, so I've got this in at 13. I mean, let's be honest, I just said she gave birth 3 weeks ago, so ultimately how much was she able to be rehearsing full-on choreography? Not. And how much would she be able to do full-on choreography after giving birth 3 weeks before this? I think this is a really decent effort from Croatia. And like I said, actually when I listen to it, it's good. Yeah, it's just when I watch it, I'm reminded why this didn't do better than 10.
You should know how much I love you. Love is everything I want. Love is everything I need. Thinking of the day we met as a sign of destiny. Love is everything I want. I believe
In you. I remember I had this CD. I remember going into HMV or Virgin, I can't remember which one, and it was like on offer. It was like $2.99. I was like, I'm picking that up. And so I would listen to this song all of the time. I have heard this one in Croatian. Some of my Croatian friends, when I was talking about this song, how much I loved it, they were like, oh, but it's so much better in Croatian, she shouldn't have put it in English. I think that's actually valid, to be honest. I would say particularly in the live performance, the backing vocalists drown her out slightly. I think the backing vocalists are too high. I don't think it's bad, they don't sing bad, but just on a technical point, watching this live, I do think there are moments where they drown her out. I thought this song was very current at the time. I thought it sounded very kind of in tune with what was in the charts and being played on the radio in the UK. The verses, she sings the verses in a very low register, and sometimes that can sound really bad, but she really does pull it off. Doing my research, I found out that she wrote the song Disco for Dean for Bosnia and Herzegovina, so she's gone up in my estimation for that alone. Look, I love this song, I do, and I remember when I had that discounted CD, I would listen to this song all the time. I've got this song in at 6th. I think this was really current at the time and did really reflect, for me, the sound that was big in the UK. Good effort, Croatia. I like this song.
in you and me. Let me show you what I feel. Nisam tvoja, nisam ona tvoja trpi, da bi bila voljena. Biću uvijek svoja lošinjaju volja, ali ću biti sigurna u sebi.
I was speaking to some of my, again, Croatian friends recently, and they were saying that this song was a radio hit. Very Britney Spears, very on trend at the time. I did not know that she was 16. She doesn't look 16. I had the 2003 CD. I begged my mum to buy it for me, and she did, and I would listen to this song all the time. I remember Terry Wogan, our commentator, warning us about one of the backing singers who's very intense. It just so happens to be the songwriter, Andrej Babić. And I'm actually going to do a video just about him because part of my time in Croatia, I kind of then started to realise who he was, and moreover the songs that he's written, and lastly every song he's written I've loved. So I want to do something on my channel at some point about him, but he is quite intense. He really does give it some as a backing vocalist and performer, bless him. He's written a timeless song, so he definitely needs to be credited for that. I still love this song today. I don't think English is needed. They do kind of bring in English near the end. I don't think it's needed. At the end of the day, it's a killer melody, a great chorus, really infectious. I remember loving this when I was, again, I think 2003, I hadn't heard the song beforehand. The first time I heard the songs was on the night. And I remember watching this being like, I love it. And I was quite surprised how low it did. 15th, yeah, it deserved much better than that. I am obsessed with this song. For me, this song is fourth. Yeah, I love this song. 16. I think this song is beautiful. Like, you wouldn't have thought in 2004, with the age that I was and the music that I was listening to, that I would really tap in and tune into this song, but I really did. It's in English, so I understand it. A romantic theme with a Balkan touch. And I love it when the backing singers come in at the end. It's a full, rich backing vocal behind him. I love this song. I think it's beautiful. I've got this song as 7th. There we go. Like, I love it. I think it's a brilliant song. It's really, really good. Yeah, this is when you just start realising. I know, obviously, year before in 2004 it was in English, but then you listen to this and you just think, Croatia should just sing in Croatian. There is just something beautiful about Croatian song. I mean, give him an A star, give him an Oscar for his energy. He's really given it some. I'd forgotten how energetic he was until I watched the live performance the other day. In fact, there's a live performance of this on Spotify, and he's got evidently a choir behind him, and the backing vocals are so full and it sounds so rich and it just sounds so amazing. I don't think this is done in a derogatory way, but a lot of people commented about how the backing singers carried the song. I don't think it means carried it because Boris was struggling, but I think it sounds so much better with those backing vocalists. They sing it amazingly. He wrote Moja Stickler 2006. I didn't know that for Severina, so for that he gets extra bonus points from me. I think this is a great song. This is the era for Croatia where I'm like, every year looking forward to see what Croatia brings, because I think that they were a powerhouse at Eurovision at the time. I've got this song as 8th favourite. I enjoyed that way too much. Someone put in the comments, which I thought was quite funny, pins and needles. The whole performance is my brain during an exam. Interpret that how you will. Look, Severina is one of, if not maybe the most successful singers in Croatia even today. Like, she's huge in Croatia. Just YouTube her. All of her songs, her videos get well in excess of 30 million. You know, credit to her, she is dancing in those heels. And actually one of the comments, which was really funny, said, and I didn't think about this before, she looks identical to that dancer in the emoji with the red dress. Yeah, she does. Look, I think it's beautifully danced. I think it's well sung. I remember that at the time, I think that even Croats were quite confused about the performance. I think from my memory, I think even Croatians were a bit taken aback by her performance. She made the lyrics Africa Paprika work, whether you think that works or not. Again, someone said in the comments, which I think is spot on, eccentrically charismatic, and I think that you can't doubt that. In 2015, she was the most searched person in Croatia and Slovenia. That's how big she is here. Here, I'm not here anymore. I'm in that side of the world, but not in Croatia. Look, I was obsessed. I remember, I've mentioned this in other videos, and it's true. I put money on that song. I got my dad to do it for me. And I remember playing it to my dad, and my dad was like, yeah, I think this song's gonna win. I've got this as 3rd. I just think it's amazing. When it comes on, it just makes me smile. And I think Severina is an absolute legend. Oh, she sang a song that just came on randomly on YouTube one time, and ever since then, I play it all the time. It's amazing. I'll add it to this video, but I can't remember the name of the track. Okay, So going from that to this,
Czego sercania i nie dam nam się probudi. Daruję mu ljubav, bašu onako kao ti.
you can probably tell from my face, I'm not a huge fan. I mean, Croatia gives us, a touch of Indian rock. It was big in Croatia at the time, this song. I think this is a perfect example where mix of languages is annoying and just doesn't work and is unnecessary. When they switch into English, I just don't think it fits. I'm not a huge fan of this song, so I've got this in bottom place. I don't think it's a great song. So I've got 29th here, but I've obviously got confused. 28th, because there's only 28 countries. I've got this in at 28, and there's nothing, I remember not liking it at the time, I remember not being surprised it didn't qualify. I just think because at this point, like, Croatia was one of my favourite countries at Eurovision, and I remember this coming, and I'm like, oh, this isn't Croatia that I've come to love. So I remember being really disappointed listening to this. So yeah, this is for me, the worst song Croatia said. This video doesn't really show 75 cents. Yeah, so America at the time had 50 cent, Croatia had 75 cent. The gentleman in white, who hasn't really appeared in this video, the elder gentleman. At the time he was obviously the oldest performer at Eurovision, but then since then he's been eclipsed, hasn't he? I think one of the Russian grannies definitely was older than him. And then that band from Switzerland, the Salvation Army, that guy I think was older than him. You know, I really do like the traditional sound of this. I think the older I'm getting, the more I appreciate this song. I remember at the time not absolutely loving it, but being in Croatia and kind of enjoying the essence of Croatian rhythms that are inherent in this song. Miran's voice, he's the lead singer, sounds identical to the studio. But I guess, like I said, the older I've got, the more I appreciate the song. And actually I did enjoy listening to it when I was on the beach in Croatia. And I think, someone said, I don't really know what's going on in this song or performance, but I love it. And I think, the older I'm getting, the more I'm appreciating that. I've got this in at 16th. I do like the traditional Croatian rhythms that are inherent in it. That's kind of what I want Croatia. I know that sound is never going to maybe bring Croatia back to be competitive, but like, there's a part of me that kind of wants Croatia to send it again. I remember listening to this when I was watching all of these back to back the other day to be more informed and do this objectively. And I remember this song coming on, and I just remember saying to myself, thank God for Balkan ballads. Just bring them back. Like, I know, obviously, and we'll talk about it in a second, you know, they were going to bring one back in 2020, and you can kind of debate whether that was as good as this, but, like, I just think there's a place for Balkan ballads in Eurovision. And again, you could probably pick on examples like Slovenia 2012 being like, they're done at Eurovision, they're just not going to do well. But just selfishly, I just love hearing them. It's beautiful. He sings beautifully, his vocal range is awesome. This was saved by the juries. If it was televote alone, it wouldn't have gone through the semis. The melody's great. Again, it showcases Croatian as a beautiful language sung. I've got some comments I wrote down for this one. Someone said, the strings in their traditional folk music speak to my heart. Yeah, I concur with that. And someone again comments on something that my mum definitely said. Dreamy hunk. The way he looks at the camera is mesmerising. And my mum was texting me throughout the show, and when this song came on, even my mum was just like, that guy's a dish. He's a handsome fellow, is Igor. Where have I got this? 9th. Again, like, there's just so many good, slow, Balkan Mediterranean-y sounding ballads that Croatia sent that are just amazing. And yes, they've not been awarded with decent places, but like, yeah, for my kind of Eurovision journey, there's a place for them. Hopefully you can still hear me. The tram is about to go past. The helicopter. There is actually a helicopter going over. Okay. Oh, Feminem, love you. Beautiful ballad in their own language. Voices are powerful. Harmonies are really good. Definitely deserve to qualify. Like, I will never understand why this did not qualify. Like, how could it not? The song was strong. The song was strong. It was sung so well. And actually, someone has said so beautifully in the comments, I love the nuance of soft and fragile and strength and power. And I can't concur enough with that in regards to how they sing and the performance that they deliver. Strong harmonies, great melody. There's no reason why this did not qualify. I'm going to give a shout out to my friend and YouTube friend Jordan, who did a cover of Feminem's Comic, which has check that out. It's very good. It's very, very good, I must say. Look, I loved this song. I remember being so shocked this didn't qualify. This is my 5th favourite song. And Feminem are back, right? They reformed this year. So check them out. Support them, because I think they're a great girl band.
Every single step you take, stop the world for a moment, shine like a comet. Nothing can stop you now. Celebrate every single step you take.
I remember being really surprised when I heard this song, being like, Croatia is sending a really cheesy pop song. This makes no sense. Didn't she qualify? I think it was, they had Dora at the time. I think it was in Croatian originally, and wasn't she DJing in the initial production? And obviously they flipped that, turned it, roasted it, like, and then gave us this. Yeah, someone wrote in the comments, which I agree with, this is so bad that it becomes amazing. Again, I think with age, I remember at the time being like, if this doesn't qualify, I'm not going to be sad. But then, yeah, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure. Yeah, it's so cheesy and cheap. And at the end of the day, I love cheesy pop, so go Croatia. Again, so, I just love reading the comments. Some of them are really good. More funny than I am. This looks like Simon Cowell's Nightmares. Harsh. And someone else put, Director of Costume Designer, how many times do you want a dress change, Daria? Yes. This is the infamous performance where there is just so many dress changes. It's a bit distracting and a bit desperate in my opinion. I saw a comment and I did reflect on this. For kind of a disco song, you would have expected the performance to be a bit more energetic and energizing than what it was. I mean, some people say that her vocals weren't the best. And she can sing. I follow her actually on Facebook, and she's part of a trio now, and they go around singing. She's got an amazing voice, but I think on the night it did sound a little bit strained in parts. Yeah, someone did say for a disco song, this is the most oxymoronic performance ever, i.e. disco song, disco sounding, but a bit more of a less energetic performance. Whoever produced or directed this staging doesn't deserve an award. But at the end of the day, I think this song was always going to struggle, and I think maybe that was in the back of people's minds. Let's try and do a performance that people remember, because maybe people won't remember the song as much. I've got this in a 18th. It's not one of the worst that Croatia has sent, and it's cheesy pop, and I love cheesy pop, so
Svaka
Okay, so you can probably see from my facial expression, I'm not a massive lover of this song. I didn't realise that she had a throat operation 2 weeks before this performance, so got to give her credit there. I think there were quite a lot of Balkan ballads this year from memory. I was never rooting for this song, so I wasn't sad it didn't qualify, but I've got to be really careful because she's still really big in Croatia. She's still really, really popular here. I just don't think it holds up. Sorry, it just doesn't register for me. I've got this in at 27th. It just doesn't hold up against other slower songs. I'm sure she's great. I'm not doubting that she's not a fantastic performer and vocalist. I just don't think the song really shines. This is one of the first slower songs where I started listening to the production. I was like, yeah, there is more of a Mediterranean Dalmatian sound to it than Balkan. So you wouldn't potentially say that was a Balkan ballad. I don't know. People might disagree with me on that one. Probably will and will challenge me. Traditional, it does sound different to other Balkan ballads or Balkan countries that send Balkan ballads. It's pleasant. I think at this point, I think Croatia were running out of ideas. I don't know what happened. Croatia just completely went off the bandwagon. Like 2011, Celebrate, 2012, and not a very good slow song, and then 2013. I just, I'm all for taking risks. I just don't think that Eurovision 2013 was the right place for that song. I'm not denying that they have talent. They are very good vocalists. You just feel Croatia has just lost its way. It's got very lost by this point. And in fact, they did take a break, right? Because you can now see Nina's back in 2016 and that was 2013. I've got that at 26th. I think Croatia had a run of pretty bad songs. But then we get 2016.
'Cause there is a light guiding my way, keeping me safe and no straight. There is a sky hiding away, never to die in vain. I know that I'll find you.
Can I just say, I think Nina is an amazing person. I need to actually follow her actually on social media because I remember seeing her in interviews and she just, I don't know, she just spoke so much sense and she just seemed like she had a really kind heart. Really shocked how low this did. Go back, I wouldn't say it was one of the favourites, but it was high up there in people's opinions. It certainly was in Croatia. There was a lot of high expectation for this song in Croatia. And as a result of that, I felt really sorry for her because going into this performance, there was a lot of negative energy around this song. There was a lot of negative stuff going on about what she was wearing. I mean, I actually don't mind that. I didn't mind the mirrors, and I thought it was effective, and I could see why they did it because it was reflecting and it like a lighthouse. I think the first thing that she wears is a bit tenty. I mean, bless her heart. I think with all of those, with high expectations from home, wasn't there negativity at home as well because the songwriters weren't Croatian? I might be wrong there, but I remember there was a bit of some negativity about the song not written by Croatia. I think. I might be wrong, and I'm really sorry if I am. I don't want to spread fake news. There's no denying she didn't sing this as well as she could. I mean, I've seen some of her performances. The Voice, she was on The Voice. She's got a phenomenal voice. She was off key at parts. I think I did read somewhere that she was sick on the day. I know everyone says, everyone pulls out that excuse. I would like to believe that's true. She came back last year, didn't she, for Dora in 2021 with the song River, translated as River. I quite like that song actually. I think she's a great person. I think this song holds up really well. I think it was a really good comeback for Croatia, and I thought it was going to do a lot better than 23rd. And maybe some people will blame the staging, the dress, or maybe her vocals. It just didn't all come together, bless her, because the song is good. It's a good studio version song. I've got this song as 11th.
See the light and find your way. Do your best, take a chance, let a dream and
Okay, I gotta be really careful what I say about him because he's still pretty big in Croatia. No doubt that his vocals are amazing. There's that moment near the beginning when he goes, "After the rain." I mean, I still listen to that now live and I get chills. It's such a beautiful sounding voice. Someone did say in the columns, this performance is when you have to do a PowerPoint and your partner doesn't turn up. Because obviously he's got the two registers, the kind of low register and the high register. Wikipedia tells me that he is the voice of Aladdin in the Aladdin franchise in Croatia, dubbed. There we go, bit of trivia. And I do remember, and I hadn't forgotten, and Wikipedia certainly brought it back to the forefront in regards to the specifics, that I remember at the time reading some stuff that he'd said in the past about the LGBTQ plus community, LGBTQIA plus community. Look, if someone comes out and genuinely says sorry, then you've just got to let it go, right? But the stuff that he said, pretty hard hitting. But yeah, I'm a full advocate. If someone apologizes and becomes enlightened, then we need to give them that credit. But I remember watching him in 2017 and I just couldn't not have that in the forefront of some of the stuff that he had said. But he seems like a nice guy. I've seen him do a few interviews with Wee Wee Blogs. He seems a really nice guy. If you want to know, go on Wikipedia, just type in his name and scroll down and it says exactly what he said. But he has said that he was wrong. So let's acknowledge that. I think this is a bit Marmite, isn't it? People love it or hate it. I mean, I've got this in at 17th. I think this was a good effort from Croatia. And if you read the comments, like you can see he's big here. People love him. I'm not in Croatia anymore, Shane. He's big in Croatia because there's so many people that basically say that this was robbed, it should have done better. Because he's a talent, and I think as a result of that, maybe his talent deserved to be awarded more than 13th. The song's not bad. I mean, it's cheesy as hell, but I've professed to liking cheese. I've got this in at 17th.
Make it forever, and I go crazy for your love, go crazy for your love.
She's married to a famous footballer, right? A Croatian footballer. Look, there's no denying that she's a talent. She's what I would say an artist. And at the end of the day, she did take a decent studio version and elevate it vocally, visually, and sensually. When I watched the performance, am I blown away? No. When I listen to the studio version, do I want to listen to it again? No. Do I like the music video? Yes. Did I think that they were going to pull themes from the music video on stage? Yes. Look, the sound is, I mean, it's, what have I written here? Yeah, it's classy, it's sexy, but is it memorable? No. In the Poland pre-selection this year, Anya did a song, Dokad, which again has got a pretty monumental? A great music video. Her song is a better version of this. I was never crazy about the song, pardon the pun. I don't think it's that great. I was never surprised it didn't qualify. I thought it might qualify based on juries. I thought that they would acknowledge that she's an artist and it was very classy. But I think, yeah. I was never one of those that thought it was boring. She was just on her own on the stage. I thought she sold it. To use ESC Tom's words, it was a one-woman show. I just never really loved the song. So I've got this in at 25th. Those visuals in the background. Kitsch. Starting to feel that, yeah, 2016 was a kind of an anomaly. Like, since Croatia's come back, oh bless them. Look, he was 18. I didn't realise at the time, and at the end of the day, he did his job. He performed. His vocals are insane. And actually, when he started singing in Croatian, I got goosebumps when I watched this the other day. It should have all been in Croatian. They should never have put it in English. The performance is very kitsch, obviously. And actually there's this horrible moment, and I hate it when Eurovision does this. They did it this year with Ranella. There was one country left to announce who's qualified, and they zoomed in on him, and he had his head in his hands, like embarrassed, like he'd let his country down. It was horrible. They need to stop doing that. I don't like it. I know it's great TV, but it's really demoralising. It's not a bad song, and he sings it really well. The staging, again, I don't know whether it's Croatia, a bit like Daria Celebrate, knowing it would have been very, very challenging for this to qualify. I don't think anyone had this as a safe qualifier, even when did it win Dora? Dora was the thing then? I don't know. I can't remember, because Dora's been on and off, isn't it? I've got this in 19th. I think it's a good effort. I think he sings it. He sells it. It's too kitsch. The wings. It should have been in Croatian. Ooh. Had the song been selected when I was in lockdown? No, it would have been before lockdown. Actually, I wasn't that crazy about it, but I've got it wrong in the sense that in Croatia, I think there's a lot of people in Croatia that feel had the contest gone ahead, this would have done well. Croatia's gone back to kind of, I guess, bringing us a Balkan ballad. And again, I just don't think this holds up to previous slow songs Croatia has sent. But I'm not doubting his talent. I think he's won a few singing contests in and around Croatia. And actually, he released an album after this song that went to #1 in Croatia, so he's got a big fan base in Croatia. The song doesn't really register with me, and particularly I didn't think it did hold up to a lot of the songs in 2020, and I think it would have struggled to qualify in my personal opinion. I've got this in at 21st. It's not bad, it's not a bad effort, and I think listening to Croatians and seeing Bartel was quite complimentary of the song, and seeing him talk about it, I think this probably would have been slightly lower had I not had those engagements, particularly with him. But I gave it another go, and yeah, it's not a bad effort. I don't think it would have qualified. Oh, Albina, what is there to say about this without kind of causing any controversy? I mean, it is kind of strange. I don't know if we have any other examples whereby she comes 9th in the televote, 10th with the jury, and then doesn't qualify. It does. I would have a really bad taste in my mouth if I was Croatian. Look, this was the semi-final of death, and there was so, I remember Alicia Michelle saying, because you had E.N.I from Israel, you had Effendi from Azerbaijan, right? All in the same semi. There might have been other female vocalists doing pop songs. I can't remember off the top of my head. I remember Alicia Michelle saying Azerbaijan would miss out. I remember someone else saying, and I can't remember which YouTuber now, saying that Israel was going to miss out. I thought it was going to be this one. I was shocked. I mean, of course, I did a reaction about how shocked I was, because the performance was really, really good, and I thought the performance was enough for all three to get through. And I think actually the majority of people out of those three songs were backing this one to go through, so I think that's why I was so shocked. But I'm going to be honest, at the time and even post, I listened to Azerbaijan and Israel more than this. I was speaking to Bartel. He's a songwriter, and he sent a song to Dora this year in 2021 that's really, really good. And based on his experience of that, I think he and a few other people question maybe some of the management of Dora, because you've heard the songs from Dora, the song that he sent should have been really in the final, and he was saying everyone in Croatia just knew this was going to win. Bartel was saying that in the national final, one of the YouTubers one of the dancers is a huge influencer, so again adds up more popularity in regards to the televote. I think even, didn't Deben say from Wee Wee Blogs that this song wasn't one of his favourites in Dora? I can't profess, I didn't listen to any of the songs in Dora this year, so I don't know what the competition was. The Croatian version is much better. In Dora it was all in Croatian, wasn't it? There's a music video where it's all in Croatian, and actually someone made a comment saying that actually when she starts singing in Croatian she lights up, and I actually watched this with that knowledge, and she does. It's not a bad pop song, and it is elevated by the staging. I don't think they could have done anything more. I think she did everything she could. I think the choreographer did everything he could. I think the stage producer did everything that they could. This was as good as it was ever going to be, and it just missed out, unfortunately. I've got this in at 15th. This isn't a bad effort. This isn't a bad effort after everything else. Still don't understand the choreography. She's actually lovely. I've seen her in a few interviews. She's so endearing. I've seen her twice. I saw her at the Madrid preview party, and I saw her in Warsaw the other day at the Poland Eurovision party. She's a good performer. She's really sweet. Again, a bit like Albina, like when she starts singing in Croatian, I actually think it elevated the song. And when you start reading a lot of the comments, particularly foreigners, they say it sounds so much better in Croatian. Like, she should have had it all in Croatian. But she did qualify in Dora with it all in English. She added Croatian later. I think the Croatian bit is the best bit. She came 11th. I was surprised. I didn't have this anywhere near borderline, so I was actually quite surprised this just missed out. And if it was juries alone, she would have qualified. I have some issues with the staging. I like the dress, but does the dress fit with the sound of the song? And I don't like the dress and the boots together. But what do I know? I'm a 35-year-old man. I can't really profess to know anything about fashion. And I wasn't a huge fan of the movement with the dancers. I just don't think the staging really fit with the song. I mean, the song is nothing special. It is a bit generic. I've got this in at 20th. She's big in Croatia. She's got a big social media following. She's a lovely person. But the song itself, I'm not going to say mediocre, but it's nothing original, is all I'll say. So 20th. So there we go. That's my top 28 songs from Croatia. If you are still here and you've not subscribed to my channel, please do. Please do click the notification button so you're informed if when I post videos. And yeah, until next time, stay safe.